Okay, so hopefully you've been following along with your notes, and if you have been following along in the PowerPoints, what you know is we're now to a point where we have a slide called Challenger Deep. Now, when we had said that the ocean is divided up. We can think of the ocean being divided up in a number of different ways. We could talk about the pelagic environment, the benthic environment, the littoral environment. We could talk about the thermocline and the mixed water above and the cold water below. But when we start talking about all that water, most of the water that's below, the other way that they divide up the marine environment is just by depth. And so we had said we have this upper 20 meters, that's the photic zone. And then below the photic zone, we have this middle pelagic. It's called mesopelagic. It's down to 1,000 meters. Below 1,000 meters, you're getting pretty darn deep, 3,000 feet. We call it bathypelagic. And then if you're in a real deep part of the ocean, it's in the abyss, right? So it's real, most of the ocean is not much deeper than abyssal, of course. So that's at 4,000 meters. And then anything below 6,000 meters deep is going to be hadal, like Hades, like hell, right? And so you have tremendous pressure. It's very, very cold. You have tremendous pressure. As a matter of fact, the deep ocean is far less explored than outer space. And the reason for that is it's such an inhospitable environment. So if you're following along in the PowerPoints, you know that we have a small video for you to watch that is talking about a trip down to the deepest point in the ocean. And the deepest point in the ocean is a location called Challenger Deep. And it is 10,916 meters deep. How do we know it's, that's a pretty precise measurement. How do we know it? We were there. We measured it by direct measurement. We know that is the deepest point in the ocean. And if you know anything about continents and the way they move around on what we call tectonic plates, and we have locations where one plate is sinking under another, and this produces what we call trenches. And there's a trench in the Pacific Ocean over towards China and Japan and Asia, and it's called the Marianas Trench. And that is where we have the deepest point in the ocean that is called Challenger Deep. And it's an interesting story. Make sure you watch the little video about that. And then now we're going to move on from the deep parts of the ocean to the more shallow portions.